it's done it again, hasn't it? Oh,
press the play button.
I'm trying to.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask the Accountant. It is episode 155, and we are here on the 20th of October talking all things. Hang on a minute. What do you mean, Johann's Apology Corner? Why is that flashing? We are here talking all things accounting world as per usual. Apologies for the dodgy start there. Aaron's got one responsibility at 8:30. Go live and run the credits. 2 weeks in a row, he's not remembered to run the credits. Like, he blames technology, but I'm not convinced. Anyway, Aaron, how are you? And what have you been up to over the last few days and weeks?
It's been a busy few weeks, hasn't it? Or a few days, hasn't it? Oh, crikey. Yeah. Yeah, it's been good. Bit of Formula One this weekend, which was good to see. I'm not sure about the times though. I don't really like doing it at, what was it, 9 o'clock at night, was it? That sort of thing. I like having it in the middle of the day so I can kind of bookmark it for the rest of the thing, you know, bookend it. But yeah, no, it was a good week. I've been just mentally busy, but stuff I can't talk about at the moment. But all exciting stuff. And I think you've had a busy week as well, have you not? Has it not been a crazy one?
Yeah. We've got so much going on at Engage at the moment. It's phenomenal. The firm's busy as well on top of that. So, yeah, lots going on. But, you know, I enjoy a bit of multitasking. So I enjoyed the F1 last night. But whilst doing that, I was designing templates for the Engager users. So, you know, keeping myself busy and out of trouble. But as always, we're only here because we've got our community around us to say hello to and ask us questions and keep us on the straight and narrow. So let's go through. Good morning to Cheryl, 8:30 on the dot. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. We did, thank you. Tim says, good morning from a rainy Guernsey. Exactly 8:30 a.m. Then we had Natasha, the bookkeeper superhero, at 8:30 a.m. as well. And then we had Kirsty at 8:30 a.m. saying, good morning, everyone. Then we had Louise at 8:29. Sorry, Louise. It's not on 8. If it's not 8:30, if it's before 8:30, you go to the bottom of the 8:30 list. It's the new rules.
We knew what was happening now. So how has he missed Louise?
Juliet says, good morning. Good morning, Juliet. Paul Whitehouse is here. Good morning, Paul. Dave says, good morning and happy Diwali to everyone from a rainy London. I hope everyone has a great wet weekend. You know what? It was a wet weekend for us, but blue skies in Edinburgh. Who'd have thought it?
Nice.
Paul says, good morning to all. Good morning, Paul. Cheryl says we should add to be on time to his list. Well, the problem is we're here. We're on time. We sit here for 30 minutes before, well, I stand, you sit, for 30 minutes before we go live. The problem is we get too involved in the conversation, and that causes headaches for timekeeping. Paul Ingram says, good morning, Paul. Hope you're well. Stephanie says, good morning, Stephanie. Marcus says, good morning, fellows. Mark Farrington says, good morning, and so does Susanna. Wonderful. Right, full house today, as always. It's always a good thing. Right, okay, let's get into this. We've got lots to talk about. So, first bit of news, rather self-serving here, but proposals launched in Engager this week. Well, last Monday night into Tuesday. I had my ChatGPT mic drop moment on Monday afternoon. So I knew there was potential we could release it Monday night, but it was only like 20 minutes into the webinar that I was in, where I was showing it all off and announcing it all, I got a Teams message confirming from Peter, the lead developer. It's like, yes, we will launch it tonight. It's like, great. Get a bit of a mic drop moment. Because like all these softwares are, oh, this is what we're doing. And, we'll see it in 2 years' time. Like, we'll sell you the marketing spiel today. And then we'll bang on about it for 2 years. Whereas we prefer to go, this is what we're doing. Here's all technical stuff behind it. Oh, and it goes live tonight. Very ChatGPT of us. I was very, very pleased with that one. Aaron, you've been playing with this. You even made us a video about this, which is very kind of you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely loving it. Loving it. I was on the camp of why do we need this to begin with, if I'm completely honest with you. And I understand there was a big local minority crying for this, right? Like this was a feature that they really, really wanted or needed. I assume because it was something that maybe what they were using beforehand offered and they wanted to kind of replicate it. I think that's kind of mostly where it was coming from. But I was sat there when you first talked about this proposal thing going, oh, well, that'll be just one of those features that will roll out and I'll have a quick look at it and never touch it again. But honestly, really, really like it I can see why people really wanted this as a solution. It gives you that opportunity to really flex your muscles of who you are as a firm and what you are, like giving that opportunity to put it there without having pages and pages. I was looking the other day, like our engagement letter at the moment with the LOE on it, with the fees on it, it's like 60 odd pages long. Like there's no client in the world that's going to sit there, make a decision overnight, like straight away. Are they on that? They're gonna at least want to read some of it, right? Like such a heavy, important document that they're going to want to go, right, let's make a decision about this. And you know yourself, like the more barriers you put up to people making that decision making, the stats speak for themselves, don't they? Like it just degrades how easy it's going to convert. But already we've seen improvement on it because they look at the proposal letter. It's everything you've already spoke about most of the time. It's what they're expecting. It's reaffirming that they've got that trust in you because of the nice glossy proposal. Meet the teams there, all that sort of stuff's included, and they can make that decision. Or in some of our clients' issues, they can pass that to the person who can make that decision, right? And they're making that decision quick. We've already seen improvement in our conversions already. Like it's all, we've got tangible evidence to show that, and that is because they're making that decision going from there. Yeah, it might take a bit longer then to sign their engagement letter, but that's all part of the proposed onboarding process. And what I'm doing at the moment is I'm pushing it forward, the onboarding, that if they have signed that proposal, well, that's when I'm starting to do all the other bump in the background, get all that sort of stuff done. And then we just basically waiting for that engagement letter to be signed before we start actual work. Yeah. So I'm liking it. I feel like you've given us enough tools in there to play around with it. I think, and I'm going to be critical on this, and I think there's something that I'm sure you'll say you've learned as well. I think the only thing that maybe is kind of a good learning factor is that it was a bit confusing in the way it was like put together, and there was kind of a bit confusion of, well, how do I edit this one? How do I edit that one? And I'm sure that's something you guys will take away as feedback.
You watch the help videos.
Yeah, but I think on that as well, I think there's some people saying, oh, it's an hour-long video or whatever it's going to be, right? And they
that's
didn't
the webinar, but we've got shorter versions.
Yeah, but I think that's just a valid criticism feedback that you've had. But apart from that, I think it's positive, right? It is okay, because you've also given the choice. Like they don't have to go down this route.
Yeah,
and go from there. So from being didn't understand why this was even a thing to, oh, actually, I don't think I can live without this now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's
that conversion.
Yeah. Because that's it. I'm already seeing that. Like they said, it was a week ago this got released, and I'm already seeing tangible results out of it. Right? Like how often do we get an update that we can see that? So yeah, no, absolutely loving it. What's been kind of your overall feedback from the community? Has it been positive, negative?
Hugely positive. The bit I'm quite enjoying is actually deep. For me, I'm deep diving kind of into pricing psychology at the moment.
Yeah.
So like in my firm's proposal, we've put in the welcoming part. Kind of we're trying to remind them why they're looking for us and what the benefits of working with an accountant or bookkeeper are. So I've got in mind, like I've got a segment, summary of some research from a university that shows that firms that use accountants and bookkeepers generally make 11.5% more revenue than firms that don't. Like, it's all little things like that that just help get the sale across the line subconsciously. And if you're sending out a nice proposal and stuff, then there's a reason that you walk into a secondhand car dealer and they give you a bit of paper with a price on, or maybe they print it out with a price on. But it's probably a bit of paper, whereas you walk into a BMW or a Mercedes garage and they give you a big brochure with everything in, and the price is in there, but there's a whole sales pitch before it written down in the brochure.
Yeah.
Which, so hopefully improving the quality of the onboarding and the proposal and then letter engagement actually leads to people being able to charge higher prices for their services and deliver value from day one and set that perception of value from day one. So yeah, it's been very, very successful for us. We're very happy with it. But again, it's a milestone. It's amazing. We love it, but we're already moving on. Like internally, before that really even launched, the dev team were already well on the way with the next thing, and product team and myself, we're already looking at what's the dev team working on, and yeah, it's a continuous, ever hungry beast of development. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's been a really, really good week. We're really pleased with the outcomes of it.
And I think the timing's right as well, because maybe it's just coincident, but in our firm, again, we wouldn't have even considered it before. Like, what, a proposal just seems like extra work almost at the beginning. Like, that's how I was seeing it. It was like, why another form for me to maintain in the onboarding process, blah, 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 was my initial thoughts of it. But actually, it's perfect timing for us, because we're at a stage in our practice now where we're going to be offering two completely different offerings, right? Like, there's going to be two different avenues clients can go down, and that proposal gives us an opportunity to be like, right, here's proposal A, and then here's a proposal B from another another entity sort of idea, and we can completely and utterly tailor that experience, whereas the engagement letter is going to be pretty much the same, right? Like, that's set in stone. That's we don't have control over that, right? But now we do have control over part of that process. Now we do have that, and it just gives us that confidence that we can scale and we can grow and we can do everything else, because we can make it so it's ours and we can own that and we can understand. And I feel, I feel like that's something I've definitely neglected massively over my evolution of a practice owner. Like, I've never really put enough backing behind it. I've just want a better word, throw money at people to do it for me, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh well, I pay this subscription, so it must be fine. Or I've got this amazing digital marketer, so she'll make it really glossy, and she does, and everything else. But I've never taken ownership myself of going, actually, I need this one to talk this, and this needs to be that communication. This has that one to be that, and I've got that opportunity of that. So yeah, I think the timing is absolutely spot on, and yeah, it's gone down well, and especially now. I think it finishes that whole conversation, doesn't it, on onboarding of, well, you've given them the option to get paid there and then. You've given them the separate proposal. You've given them the separate engagement letter. Feel like that now it can properly go head to toe against some of the competitors, whereas before it was always like, yeah, there was a proposal solution there and it was good, but now it can be on par with what they are as well, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's
the thing is, this is just the beginning. Like, we've got huge plans for onboarding, sales processes and stuff. Like, this is just another fragment of that plan. So yeah, it's a work in progress, shall we say. So it's this experience of getting clients on board is just getting warmed up. So plenty to look forward to there. Tim says, proposals is a great example of Engager listening to user requirements. 18 months ago, they said, do you really need that extra step? We all said yes, and they built it. Yeah, but personally, like you, Aaron, I didn't see the fanfare for proposals. I was quite happy sending out a letter of engagement that had built-in stuff to make it more proposal-y. I'd already had that meeting with clients, etc. Like, do I really need to reiterate everything? Probably not. But you know, the community said yes, we want it. We also then looked at, is this going to be disruptive to the software space? Is it going to help us get better traction with some firms looking at us? And the result was yes, so we got it built.
I think, in fairness to both of us, like, we've also evolved in what sort of clients we're attracting now, right? Like before, you've just said nail it on that, put the nail on the head, right? We were talking to the decision maker, we were convincing them. It was a formality after that point, wasn't it? It was just, here's your proposal, here's everything else, and they went. I think now we're in that realm now where we're not necessarily talking to the major decision maker each and every time. Like, we're talking to part of the cog, aren't we? And they've got to go away and they've got to convince the rest of the wheel to go and take us on as accountants. And I think what we're doing is we're giving them a tool to sell us to the rest of the team, right? Like, and that's the difference, isn't it? And I feel like, we maybe we were a bit blindsided by that, but actually that's such an important part of the proposal process. Isn't
it? Do you need a proposal for an annual self-assessment tax return? Probably not, unless you're charging really good money. But do you need it for like the first proposal I sent and was signed was a £13,500 one-off job for us. Exactly. Right, okay, yeah, a proposal probably did help us get that across the line. So yeah, they've got their places, and that's great. Paul says, we rebranded the letter of engagement to look more contractual, small print form in style, and went on and added all the images and testimonials to the proposal. Yeah, that's basically what everyone that's using Engager is doing at the moment. I have seen some very, very cool designs. Like, mine is awful compared to a lot of the ones I'm seeing. There's some, considering we're accountants and bookkeepers, there are some bloody creative people out there, or they're paying some, like, I suppose that's the bit that I really find interesting is there's accountants and bookkeepers out there that see enough value in that proposal document to go out and pay a graphic designer, a specialist, to create the brand, the image, and the layout and stuff for them, so that they are getting maximum value for their money, which is very cool to see that happening. Kirsty says, I'm not at all creative yet. I have managed to make a good looking proposal. Could and will get better, but hey, version 1. Thank you for making it easy. Well, that's what we try and do with everything. Not everyone will agree it's easy, but
there's a learning curve to this one, isn't
there? There's a learning curve, and if you want functionality doesn't come with simplicity normally. So
yeah,
finding a balancing point.
And again, I think this is something you guys will learn and understand and take on the chin, isn't it? But yeah, it's definitely an eye opener to, you want to give them everything because there's a checklist that these people have asked for, right? I need this, this, and this, and this, and to provide that, suddenly it goes from like user friendly to actually there's a little bit of friction there.
Yeah,
and I think that's you got to try and manage that, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. And Stephanie says, I think it depends on the practice you have. I always send out a proposal alongside the letter of engagement, schedule of services, even with a self-assessment. Yeah, and this is the beauty of it, is you've got the option. Do I want to send a letter of engagement or a proposal and a letter of engagement? Like, that's your choice with this in Engager. So
yeah, but I think the beauty of this solution is that you do it once and it's all connected, right? I'm looking, I've been having a conversation over the weekend of a particular pain point I've got at the moment, where another solution I'm looking at where it's not connected. I was talking about last week, right? Where their proposal systems here and their practice management's here and their actual payment solutions here. And it's such a headache when it's all disconnected and everything else. But the beauty of this is you do it once, right? You set what services they want, what thing, and it all just flows for you lovely. And there's a couple of bits in there.
It is if you use that. If you use all of those solutions, then yeah, it all adds up really nicely. If you don't, then it's as disjointed, but that's then your choice whether you want to move to a different service provider or not, so you can have the slickness of the onboarding process.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah,
just so we don't miss it, Sue's
Yep, it says morning all from raining Tamworth. Edinburgh, blue skies, I'm telling you. I'm having a winning day today. I'm in London for the next 3 days. That will change it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've got Instagram messages as well. I've got Trust Composure Accounting. Morning from rainy Sussex. Sat on the sofa watching the Proposal Plus recording so I can make it on one of the first post-holiday tasks. Loving that.
Nice.
And then who said as well, congratulations.
I'll come back to all of those.
All right, cool.
So, next piece of news then. We're not the only ones that engage in launching things. Monzo have had news this week or last week. Monzo have launched or announced they're launching their own MTD-IT filing solution type thing. Aaron, you've got the detail. My understanding it's powered by Sage, or it's a collaboration with Sage. So I'll let you go through the detail for us.
Yeah, and thankfully we got some details. So big up to Mr. Sage himself for getting this over to us, because poor me and Susanna, who's in the chat, we spoke about this at the MTD watch series on Wednesday, and it's safe to say we had quite a few questions, but thankfully we've had this answered now for us, so it's good to see. So just give a brief introduction for anyone who didn't listen to that episode and wants a quick update. Monzo now offers the opportunity for you to go in and basically pay for some accounting solution that's in there. But the beauty of this one is it's actually powered by Sage themselves. So we've seen this in the past, right? We've seen Revolut, we've seen other ones come and create their own solution. And I think we're all think that the idea is a good idea in terms of the principle, but the execution's always been a little bit wanting more, hasn't it? Like, the biggest problem, I don't know if you've had the same, but the biggest problem we've had is, well, how do we get access to it? So we've literally had clients done a whole year's worth of bookkeeping and keeping on top of their things, and they're really happy at using one of the other solutions. Come to the year end and we've gone, that's great. I mean, you can send us whatever reports they are, but we're going to have to just do it all again because we don't have access to it, right? We can't do analytics. We can't go into it. We can't do any data. And it's a really difficult relationship then to have with that client, because they're doing everything right in their eyes. Like, they're doing what their bank's telling them to do. This Monzo one takes it a step further because they haven't just gone and built it. They've actually partnered up with Sage. It gives them the opportunity to direct filing with HMRC. It's all in one. It's got, and I think this is the important thing, it's powered by Sage services, which means that you've got all of that elements come through from there. They're rolling it out, going through and everything else, and the bit that we were asking over on MTD Watch was like, well, how much access do we have as a Sage user, right? Like, is it just like they've got on Sage? And by looks of it, pretty much that's what they've built. It's like, it's all this simplicity. You're in the Sage ecosystem. You'll be Sage accountants will be able to surface, view, and interact with that data, supporting clients in real time. It doesn't say here, and I'm sure someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't say here if they can then upgrade from like Sage Monzo to Sage, and be in that ecosystem later down the line. I'd imagine that would be quite straightforward. If they can't just update there, you can at least extract the data and bring it back in. But the fact that, to me, this is people are seeing what's happening over in the world of Free Agent and NatWest and Metal and going, wow, that's an MTD solution. Like, that is a really slick way of being able to deliver that. I feel like this is everyone else going like, well, we need to be involved in that conversation, right? And this seems to be a really good way of doing it. Monzo's straightforward banking app. It's one of the challenger banks that have done really well. They one of the first to bring the POPs into play and all that sort of stuff. I still question, I don't know if anyone has used Monzo recently, but their subscription model, where to even access Sage, Zero Sage, or anything else, you have to pay an X amount to get into it. I'm not sure about that. I mean, everyone's going to make money. It's a business at the end of the day. They need to monetize, but I'm not sure you should gatekeep that element of it myself. But apart from that, the rest of the app works really, really well. And if they can, nail this, I've not had a chance to have a play around at the moment. There's a wait list and all that sort of stuff. But they can nail this, and literally you're banking in your app, but it's powered by Sage. I think that's pretty perfect, isn't it? I'm struggling to find a negative to that going forward. So what do you think about it? I mean, did you play around Monzo? We had it for Asset Accounting for a while. I don't know. Did you ever download it? Have you used it elsewhere?
Yeah, so we've got Monzo for my personal bank account, our joint account, and for one of my business accounts. I'm a huge fan of Monzo. Personally, I've got no issue paying for subscriptions either with Monzo. I think they're really good value for money, especially the personal max one where you get your travel insurance, the mobile phone insurance, access to airport lounges, and so on and so forth. Like, I think it represents really good value for money. And you get access to like higher savings rates.
Because I have the same with Revolut, and I agree on that one. It's the gatekeeping of the financial data. I don't know. It's always been one of those ones where I wish it was
costs them money.
Yeah,
it costs them money. Like, we all know the Zero API is not a free API to use, right? And QuickBooks is potentially not going to be free after December, depending on volumes and stuff. So, the bank's incurring costs there. I personally don't have any issue with them charging. Like, yeah, all right, it's great that there's a free bank account, but let's talk Santander. You pay $7.99 a month for a business bank account with Santander.
Yeah.
Virgin Banking, you pay, like, are you technically not gatekeeps? Like, if you don't pay the banking fee, not only do you not get the bank statement fetch, the bank feeds, you don't get the bank account itself. So I think we're hyped up because there's this free banking, and then there's paid for version. Well, actually, all the high street banks charge you for even having a bank account. Never mind the rest. Like, okay, there's Starling. Personally, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them because they debanked me and several of my customers with no warning. And that is, but you've got better things to be doing in your week than dealing with that kind of a mess. That was subject to no fault of your own, but them getting done for AML problems. So I find Monzo a really good middle ground.
The Tideway's a weird one as well, isn't it? Because you get charged
20p a transaction.
Yeah.
So are you not technically paying a substantial amount? Like, you're paying 20p a transaction for that to go into Zero and QuickBooks. Actually, I think people's mindsets on this is wrong. Actually, so I have no issue with it whatsoever. But as long as they deliver the value, I'm happy.
It was just one of those ones where, like, and it's I've paid for it because like you said, I feel like it had value, but trying to get or convince a client that that's the right way to go has always been a tricky one, right? When you're talking like smaller businesses and everything else. But it was just the fact that they chose to put that one element. I mean, it's almost irrelevant to this story because there will be a fee involved. I don't know what that fee is going to be. They're not going to give this away for free, but you're going to get connection to QuickBooks to Sage as part of that, right? Like, so whatever it is, like, they could charge whatever it is. You're just looking at the difference, aren't you? In my eyes, of well, I could pay that fee to just feed it into one of the other solutions, or I could pay a little bit more, or maybe even the same. Who knows, right? But I can pay whatever the fee is going to be, and I get full access of Sage. It almost seems like a no-brainer at that point, right?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting here is actually QuickBooks and Xero being left wanting. So Sage have now got a deal with Monzo. Fantastic. Well played. Free Agent and RBS, Metal and NatWest. Fantastic. Brilliant. Starling have brought a bookkeeping software for themselves. Who's left for Sage and QuickBooks to go, let's do a deal? I think they've probably got themselves into a bit of trouble here on this, and they've been left behind. Like, we all had the dream 2019 into 2020 that QuickBooks was going to do QuickBooks Bank like they've got in the US, and then they realized, there's a thing called the IFA and banking regulations in the UK. Can't just do that. I think it leaves the two big boys out on their own a bit.
It does, and we don't know the commercial deal behind this, right? Like, it could be watertight and there's not, but who's to say that Sage couldn't use this technology on other banks going forward as well, right? They've built that, they've done the hard work, right? They've got the foundations in there. if there's, if there is no exclusivity clause or anything like that, hey, we'll never know, right? Or tinfoil hat moments. But if there isn't, who's to say they can't start offering this to others going forward, right? Like they've got the march. And what was it? A couple of weeks back, we were talking about how Copilot now can automatically file MTD returns and all that sort of stuff. You start like for me, when you're looking at like the MTD offerings, it was clear that there's certain ones out that are way ahead of the rest, right? Like for me, I love the fact that Free Agent and Metal are together and they've got that relationship, and that's a clear win for certain type of clients. I love that QuickBooks Sole Trader has that automation there, and it's fully automated and go through there. There's certain clients that's going to be sweet chef kiss for, and learning about Sage, that was there's a certain type of clients out there that this is going to be perfect for because we can just automate it going forward. Now you're almost crossing, like you've just taken Free Agent's almost best bit there, like taking that into that's a compelling argument for offering for those new MTD clients going forward, isn't it? Like this is a really compelling solution.
Yeah. I think it's an absolute brilliant step by Sage. I think Free Agent have clearly shown the benefits of having a close banking partnership. And yeah, to see Sage and Monzo take advantage and copy and paste that to a certain degree, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic move. So
yeah. And really, if you win the MTD market, you grow from there, don't you? Like those businesses are going to grow. You're going to have more confidence in it going forward. Like it is a great point by Chris. We forgot Tide. we spoke about that this time last year.
Yeah, Sage, you're already doing this with Tide. So yeah.
So that answers the question that technology is potentially available right across the board, right? And
any bank that wants it can have it.
Yeah, and as a bank, why wouldn't you take that offer up? Like, you're offering a much better solution, and if it's all in the product, that's we've spoken so much time about how clients actually just doing their bookkeeping within the bank product is a dream, right? Like going through from that, and how long until Sage gets the power to start doing it the way around, right? Like, surely there's technology later down the line where you can start offering those, payment services and all that sort of stuff. That again, the QuickBooks Bank idea, that's what we were all excited about, wasn't it? Like, it could so easily become a two-way street at some point, and I think that's where it gets exciting.
Run your payroll in Sage, it automatically does the bank files into Monzo. You press click and it goes.
Yeah.
Cut out the middleman.
If they've got the API already there, what's to stop them just doing the payroll directly in Monzo? Do you know what I mean? Like that's where this could take them. Like, Sage's got such an array of solutions and everything else. Like, it's quite scary actually if you think about where that could go, where that partnership could lead to.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Whitehouse says, I hope banks are more banks consider value add services so we can sell the idea that using personal account is not worth it. Personally, I disagree. Personally, I think banks need to enforce this. They need to be monitoring personal bank accounts and going, no, this is not what you use it for. Here's your warning. Go and get a business bank account. And if you breach that warning, then they have the right to debank you because it's already against their terms and conditions as a banking provider. They just don't police it. But I also think software companies like QuickBooks Zero, Sage, Free Agent and stuff have a role to play here. And when they connect to a bank feed, they need to ascertain, is this a personal bank feed? Block it. They can tell through open banking if it's a personal bank or a business bank. Like, if we start putting roadblocks in the way, clients will get the lesson eventually. We refuse to use so we picked up a wave of new clients back in August. We removed 4 of them last week because they were insisting to use their personal bank accounts, and that's against our rules. So they've had to go and find another accountant who will do it, and that's fine for them. But personally, should we as accountants be accepting breaching terms and conditions of a banking provider? Is that ethical of us to do? Or should we be going, look, the rules are really clear here. You need to do this, otherwise you're at risk of losing your personal bank account and getting it locked out and stuff. Like, ethically, we should be enforcing the rules.
I don't disagree, and I think you're right. I think we need to be doing that. But I think it was Craig, wasn't it, over at HMRC that said it best. Like, it should have been mandated from the government, like, going forward, to be a, classed as a sole trader, self-employed, or, limited company is easy, right? Because we've already got that protection in place. But so to be classed as a business, it should be that, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that, and you have to create a business bank account. I think that's where we missed the trick there, didn't we? And I think Craig was saying himself that he was like really wanting that as part of the mandate, wasn't it? Like, he wanted, like, HMRC were looking to find a way to bring that in as part of MTD, that not only do you have to submit quarterly, but you have to submit via a business bank account, or you have to have it attached via a business bank account to be compliant. I think we really missed a trick there, didn't we? And I think that would have been, the way to get people to push over.
Yeah, completely agree. So yeah, no, I don't tolerate personal business banking through personal bank accounts. Full stop. Even if you're a landlord these days, there's that you can get a free banking solution. It's really not difficult in the world. Like, all right, 4 or 5 years ago, when it was only high street banks, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, printing off a form, filling it out by hand, posting it off, waiting for weeks to find out that you've filled out the form wrong or something, and then more weeks. Completely get it. Today's age and technology, zero tolerance, because I don't think there's a single reason to justify it personally. It goes against the bank's rules. It goes against HMRC guidance and advice. We should be enforcing this as the accounting provider with any of our clients. It's one of the hills I will die on.
Well, it makes MTD so much more compelling, doesn't it? Like, as a service offering, if we can just go through their business transactions and that's what we're submitting, then we can make a compelling offering and we can make it a value add, right? And we don't have to charge the earth to provide that service. But when we're going through and we've got to go through their Sainsbury's and their Argos and other brands available,
only fans. Yeah,
potentially, yeah. My clients don't fall in that category, but yeah, well, fingers crossed. But yeah, but you're right though. Yeah, like, we don't have to go through all of those. Yeah, like that we don't. Like, that's what makes MTD so scary and so worrisome for us accountants, is because we've gone through the horror stories of having to do all that before, right? We know how painful that process is, and if we can discipline the client to be like, look, this is your business bank account. If it's a business transaction, it goes through there, then we can deal with that. And that's how MTD offering is. Basically, we're going to analyze that business bank account for you. And if you've got other transactions, fine, here's a process to get them in. But primarily for your MTD filing, this is what we're going to be basing it on. So you need to be disciplined and put it through there. Actually, it's not a big ask for the client, is it really? They've got to maintain their bank account because they're going to want to get paid and they're going to want to pay their suppliers. So, maintaining a bank account should be straightforward. And I just feel like you said, if we had that confidence that everyone was going to be on a business bank account, or at least a separate bank account, we'd be in a much better position, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Paul's follow up saying the problem is accidental traders when a hobby becomes a business. Difficulty convincing them to switch is not an easy pill for them to swallow when not everyone is pushing the same narrative. No, but the narrative's got to start somewhere, Paul. So by you accepting that client and accepting their personal banking, you're then actually damaging that narrative, in my opinion. So actually, people have got to take a stand at some point. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going. It's been happening for years because no one's taken a stand. Like, if the banks actually stood up and went, right, actually, we're going to start checking. We're going to use AI to check bank accounts for business behavior, and then it will be reviewed by humans if there is any flagged. And they get a letter saying, right, we can see you using it for business. You've got until this date to pack it in. We're monitoring you. Here's some leaflets about our business banking options. Or go and speak to your accountant and bookkeeper about banking options, although we can't give that advice. But you know what I mean? Like, at some point, people are going to have to stand up and follow and enforce these rules. Yeah.
But I don't think the government's helped us here, though, have they? By putting these there's this threshold for this and there's that threshold for that, and MTD this threshold and that threshold. You know, I mean, even my own sister is like flirting around with, you know, has she gone over this or that? And I flat out refuse to be an accountant for it, because I'm like, look, you're purposely keeping below a threshold just so you don't have to fill in a tax return, right? Like, I'm not interested. Like, you know, you're definitely not got a business bank account. You know, I'm out, right? And that's my own sister, right? So if we can't, I think you're right. If we can't be strong enough to say, look, these are the terms and conditions to be in a client of ours. Tick, 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 tick. If you can't fulfill them, you're not a client for us. And yeah, but that whole thing about Paul saying is about the accidental traders. I see them all the time. Like, literally, my, you know, because of the content we've done over in the past, I've seen it time after time after time, like constantly messages in my inboxes, right? And I get the pain, but it doesn't help that there are these arbitrary, like, thresholds here and thresholds there and all this and the other. We should just simplify it, shouldn't we? Like, if you want to run a business, here are the criteria, put it in. I mean, Tim's probably sat there laughing at the moment because it's so much simplified in Guernsey, right? Like, it is, you want a business, here's the process of doing it. If you don't do it, you don't have a business. Simple as that, isn't it? And, you know, maybe we've got to learn from that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But also, thank you to Sage, in particular, Phil and Chris Downing, for sending us all the information that they've sent us on this. But we're here to cover the news. We would love softwares to send us press releases and FAQs and stuff so we can cover things accurately and stuff like that. And that's exactly, you know, Chris and Phil both reached out to us separately and said, look, here's, you might have seen this in the news. Here's some background behind it. Like, absolutely love that. So if you're a software vendor, you've got an announcement and news and stuff, and you want that covered, but you want it covered properly and accurately without us putting our tinfoil hats on and guessing, send us the information. You can get hold of us on LinkedIn. You can do it through Facebook Messenger. You can do it through email. Like, yeah, if you want us to do things properly as a software vendor, please send us the information so we can do it properly for you. Because we want to chat about all these developments. We want to help promote what everybody's doing. Well, almost everybody. But yeah, if you send us the information, we can cover it properly. We're not guaranteeing that we'll cover it just because you sent us the information. I'm sure the BBC and Sky News get sent lots and lots of stories that are never covered. But send it to us if we think it's in line with what we're talking about, or it was something we were planning to talk about anyway, then at least we can do it more informed. So thank you very much to Sage for their ongoing support to making sure we're covering their articles properly. Moving on to a different side of things, QuickBooks. CIS on mobile phones now, I believe. You've been playing with this, Aaron. You've been getting rather excited about this, so carry on.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd see the day, honestly. Like, you talk about dying on your sword and dying on your hill. There was such a long time in mine where I was going, look, they're primarily an American company. The app is definitely built for the American audience. There's no chance we're getting CIS on here. Like, it was such a, like, you think about it from Intuit's point of view, it must be such a small speck of their development and everything else. But no, somehow, some way, it's been willed into existence. I know people who are absolutely bowled over by this news, and I think the timing's just took me by. I didn't know it was happening, so it was great for me to have a surprise about it. Right, like no NDAs or anything like that because it just appeared one day. And B, the fact that Intuit Connect is less than a week away, yet we've got this significant update for the UK market. This significant element here is good to see. But yeah, it's finally here. We've actually got the opportunity to go into the mobile app, raise a sales invoice, and CIS is there. And yeah, I didn't think I'd ever see the day that goes there and put it in. But it did give me an opportunity to go, right, well, I was obviously going to cover it on my channel. Like, it's big enough news to do that, but it didn't feel like it was enough news for its own video. So I thought, well, let's compare this against Xero. Like, let's do QuickBooks Mobile versus Xero Mobile. Oh my days, I didn't realize there was such a massive chasm of difference of functionality now. Like, at what point did Xero not decide to develop their mobile app? Is it just me, or have they just thought, let's not bother?
Are they not both after different user bases, right? CIS, right? we all know QuickBooks is huge with small businesses, right? One man and woman businesses and stuff like that. They're going to need CIS, for, especially in the trade. Is Xero not gunning for the bigger companies with bigger turnovers, probably a bigger staff team, etc.? Like, none of my clients would ever consider using Xero app, because they've always, the clients that use Xero in my firm are clients that are sat at their desk all day. They're not out and about on the building site or something. So yeah, I imagine Xero's looked at the analytics and gone, where are we going to spend our dev time? Free Agent, on the other hand, phenomenal app. I absolutely love the Free Agent app. I love the fact that on the Free Agent app, if I had it turned on, you could have like a widget on your Apple phone telling you how many transactions you've not processed yet and stuff. Like, again, Free Agent is great if you're out and about all the time, if you're not in front of a computer. They've built an app and they've obviously looked at their user demographic and gone, they're out and about, they need a powerful app to be able to do this while sat on the train or on the bus or something. I don't know that Xero's analytics would back that up based on the clients that I have that use Xero.
Yeah, because I think you're right. Because we're back to this whole idea that we've got this trade line, like this line, like Xero is definitely in between. They want to have this particular type of client, and you're right, because this app in QuickBooks caters for the smaller clients. Definitely, there's some really good aspects there, and also for the bigger clients as well, right? And Xero's not interested in the bigger clients, and that's where I get excited about, is how the app can. I'm talking the big clients, right? Because this is where you can have that, right? I've got a centralized team who are going to be sat at my computer, but when I've got people out and about, they can start doing project management while they're, using a mobile device to keep on top of that. They can start looking at, putting in things like raising invoices while they're out and about and doing quotes and all that sort of stuff. So I get it. Like, Xero aren't interested in higher, they're not interested in low. They're sat in here, and I guess maybe the app doesn't need to do anything for that small type of client that they're wanting. But it is a shame, because I do feel like, and back to my book of NDAs again, right? I do feel like with all the stuff coming, we have to think about this being mobile first. The AI elements of it all and all that sort of stuff, right? That's what we're building the foundations for, so that we can start having all that sort of stuff. And I just feel like Xero are so far behind in their app development that they're clearly not going to be able to deliver any of that AI goodness in their app, because they've produced it, it's there, and I feel like they're just happy, and it's at their plateau. And I think you're right, yeah, because it's a plateau for that small window of clients that they want. But the coolness is when you start looking outside of there, in my opinion, right? Like, making it super like straightforward for a smaller client, but at the same time having it so it's powerful enough for the bigger clients, like, and the big clients, just gets me excited. So yeah, I was just shocked. I did this video expecting to kind of being like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, and do this, but it was literally like it was just out. And maybe it's a case I've got to be fair, I've got to do it against other providers like the Free Agent one and all those ones.
I think QuickBooks versus Free Agent would be a very interesting comparison.
Yeah, and I imagine
they're both
the
same
right?
market audience.
Well, you say, but for the smaller one, yeah, and I love the smaller side, but it's that bigger one that I'm really excited about, like the project management and stuff like that, stock management and stuff like that. I'm excited about.
I've yet to find a bigger client that prefers QuickBooks project management and stuff over a specialist piece of software that then links into QuickBooks or Xero.
Well, that depends if you're looking at them from a case of they're happy to go with a third party and push it through. A lot of them want it to be all in one. Well, it depends. Again, you're looking at that particular line, right? And looking, and you can only go so far up. If you go past there, they don't want that. They want it to all be in one. They want it to have the AI goodness. They want all that sort of stuff that comes with it. So that's where my excitement are coming from, and that's where I see the mobile app causing a huge part of that process. The fact that they can have confidence that the people on the ground, the people on can actually quickly update something. They don't have to have a separate app and teach them how to use this app and all this sort of stuff. They can just use the app that they've given, and they can just do it all from there. I do see a future where that can work really, really well. So yeah, it's interesting. I was just shocked. I just I knew that it was a feature parity that was missing in the Xero versus QuickBooks world, and I knew that that was something that, you know, people were gravitated Xero for that feature of CIS. But now that that's been like ticked off, like that tick, I was just shocked at how much was also missing from the Xero fan, and the fact that they kind of almost accept it at this point.
Yeah,
but, yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah, but like, so we've got an app, we've got a client portal app in Engager. Accountants and bookkeepers love it, but actually, the amount of clients that actually use it and have downloaded it are single-digit percentages of the overall client base that engages accountants and bookkeepers support. So when you're looking at that, you're trying to justify further investment and stuff. Like, now we've got features that we want to put in there to help increase that. But as a software business, you've got different priorities. You've got to work out where those priorities are, don't you?
Yeah, agreed. But we're looking at a completely different world here, aren't we? Like, it's a nice to have from the Engager side of things, and I promote the app. I love the app. I think it's a great idea, but it's just a nice. It's a tick box, right? And it is a like, this is a nice. And like you said, there's, you know, hopefully there's better features coming along that make it even more compelling to use. But actually, for me, the mobile app is fundamental, just from a client's point of view of attaching their bank account. They've got no better way of a client attaching a bank account than using the app, because they go in there, open banking, straight to the app and click it. If they go through a browser, it's get this QR code out, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's all these frictions and everything else to stop you from actually doing it. Like, for me, the way I've always seen the app is, right, let's just make it super simple for them to connect there. If anything else, just let's connect the bank. And I'm sure all of them nail that now. But once they're in there, can we entice them to stay there a bit longer? Because in our world, it'd be so much easier for our client to stay in that app for longer. Like, we'll get better because they can take photo. Well, most of the apps can let them take photos, some can't, but most of them do now. Like the good ones can. Like we want we want them to take photos of their expenses while they're out and about, don't we? Like that's what we want to encourage them. So we're gonna pretty much have all our clients, I don't know about you, but all our clients have to, or encouraged to install the app at some point. If it's just to connect their bank account, fine, that's what they'll do. They'll just connect the bank account, jobs are good in. But ideally, we want them to stay in there once they've connected it, right? And I think that's the bit that I'm trying to find enough of a, you know, pieces of string and pieces of hooks and stuff to keep them in there. And I just don't see it, the Xero ones, because there isn't really much to do in there. Whereas the other apps are giving them so much more to do.
I think it'd be interesting to see QuickBooks' statistics of how many people use the app, how much time they spend in the app on average a week or a month or something. I do wonder if you're the anomaly versus the majority.
You say that, but also, I don't know if you've had this, but I've got clients who have never gone in the browser.
Oh, that's how, when QuickBooks started putting in all these restrictions of what you can and can't do in different user levels, that didn't suit a lot of my clients. 70% of my clients went straight to Xero without even knowing, because we went through and we looked at the audit report and clients hadn't logged into the browser in 6, 7, 8, 10 months, and they hadn't posted any transactions whatsoever from either the browser or the mobile app, at which point we went, right, they're obviously, we don't need to consult them on this. They've not logged in for over a year. It's obviously our responsibility. We'll choose where it's best to go.
Yeah. I mean, but I do have a strong part of the client base who they just use the mobile app. That's all they've ever known. Like, they saw an advert or whatever it's going to be, and they believe, to them, like, the mobile phone's their life, right? So if there's an app on here, then that's part of their thing, and they believe every transaction has to go through that mobile app. So yeah, I think there's enough people out there, and it's only going to get bigger, right? Like the shift to mobile first is only going to get bigger, and that's where, again, we've been talking about this AI, like chatbots and stuff, and going, oh, whatever, like Jax and all that, like whatever. Like, it's been, but actually Jax is really, really impressive to the end client, isn't it? Like, they see this as magical, especially if they've not got an accountant, right? Like, that's what Jax was pushed at being, isn't it? Like, you know, like, this is, you don't need an accountant, you got Jax sort of idea, right? but I can see Jax being even more powerful in the mobile app. Like if they could try and get that chat GPT-ness. Like how many times do we go to our chat GPT and start a conversation with it, right? We would never consider doing that in the past. Like that's bonkers. Why would we even consider that? But because the technology's caught up and actually it now makes sense, and actually there's opportunity and features that makes it worthwhile, we started to adapt our way of doing it. Clients are going to do the same, aren't they? If they can have a reason to go in, start having those conversations with their, AI app, and it's their financial AI app, I can see a future where that becomes super important going forward. And that means that, the software providers have to be thinking about that now, don't they? Because they need to develop it ready for when that influx will by looks of it, definitely come.
Cool. Right, we are running out of time, so we're going to skip a few bits of news, tech news for next week. One bit of news, which I know people have been asking for, Adfin have announced that they will be releasing the ability for invoices to be paid via installment payments. So send an invoice for £1,000, but you agree for them to pay it in 3 or 4 batches. This is not invoice factoring. You don't get all the money up front. This is just you going, right, here's an invoice, here's the payment plan to go with it. Great for credit control. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this in practice. So there's certainly a service line that we have that we would like to go, actually, look, here's the invoice, you can pay that now. Here's an option to pay over 3 months, and here's an option to pay over 6 months or something. So yeah, really looking forward to that. And I know it's been a roadblock for a lot of Engager users that like that feature in other tools, and they want to do that. So
that's clever. Yeah. It's clever. I mean, especially if like later down the line, maybe we can connect it to the catch-up fee somehow and have it like built into there. I can see a future where that could be a really nice like feature, right? Like if we can kind of connect those dots. But I think as it stands as an opportunity just to go, right, here's this chunky invoice, here's some ways to make payment. Perfect, like absolutely perfect. And like you said, credit. I mean, there's workarounds that people have done, and there's ways in which you can do it, and you can say send pro formas and all sorts of stuff to try and get around it. But it is workarounds that basically cost you admin time to develop it. By the time you put admin time on top of it, it becomes almost worthwhile. Not worthwhile with some circumstances, right? Yep. This way, it's just send it out to them, let the client make that decision. If they want to pay all in one, boom. If they don't want to pay all in one and they need to spread it out, fine by us as well. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. Right, let's go through the final comments. Tim C. I won't hear any complaining about bank accounts. You lot don't know you're born. 4 banks in Guernsey you can choose from. 16 to 24 weeks to open a bank account. 2 of them don't provide bank feeds. Ouch. Ouch. I mean, even the US is further ahead than that, right?
Wait, I've got an app for that. Where's my world's smallest violin? Oh, I can't find it at the moment, but yeah.
I'm sorry, you have to sit there for 16 to 24 weeks waiting, looking out across that view of the sea and enjoying the island. I feel really bad for you. Stephanie says, unfortunately, Xero is currently down for a global outage due to issues with AWS. There you go. Breaking news. Xero is down. Go make another cup of coffee while you're waiting. Paul says, unless we tell clients there's an app for Engager, they don't have a reason to seek it out. That's why we put it into, it's in that email template for every single one of my emails that goes out to my clients. My firm is, you may find it easier to access this via our app.
And also, just do a little video, just showcasing what it can do. That massive update when you start doing that.
The QR code is also a pain point. That pain point got removed about a year ago, Paul. The QR code is still an option, but there's a workaround now that we released about a year ago to resolve the QR issue. And he's in the help center if you want to have a look at it. But yeah, like loads of my clients use the app because we tell them about it in all our emails. It's like in the footer of our email. So yeah, education is the best way forwards. Cool. Right, Aaron, it's 9:30. What have you got going on this week?
I've got a big week. Big week. Lots of work behind the scenes and certain sort of stuff. I've got, what is it? Friday I go for I'm going down to London to do some filming. That'll be exciting. And then Sunday I go and tick off a bit of my bucket list. I get to go to a certain conference. I won't say which one. We'll get the surprise later down the line. But I'm going to a certain conference that I've always wanted to go to. And I'm going as press, so I'm really excited about that. Some behind the scenes coming our way. We'll make sure we get some form of content on Ask the Accountant about it afterwards. But it does mean I'm not here next week. Very unlikely I'm going to be here next week. There's a small chance I can make it, but I can't say it. So yeah, but we've got and hopefully he's still happy. We've got Tim C joining you next week to come along and talk to you all about the world of things. And in fact, it's perfect timing because nominees and everything else for what do you call it can be talked about, right? For Lucre Awards.
Exactly. We'll be talking all things Lucre Awards, ICB conference, and Guernsey in general with Mr. Tim C.
I'll make you a small violin thing that you can, you can play.
So yeah, brilliant. I am heading down to London tomorrow. I'm speaking at a buying business conference thing Wednesday and Thursday, and then jetting back home Thursday night. So yeah, busy week for both of us then.
Enjoy it.
But I will see you all. Oh, go on. HMRC are down as well. Oh dear. Could be a very slow Monday morning.
Could be, couldn't it? Could be.
But yeah, I mean, I will see you all here next week with Tim from Guernsey. I can't wait for that. Really looking forward to that episode. Aaron, enjoy your conference of secrecy. And
I'm sure I'm allowed to say that. I don't want to risk it. Like, it's not happened yet, right? Let's anything could happen between now and then. So
yeah. And yeah, just share as much as you can while you're there and tell us all about it when you get back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, bucket list for sure. Bucket list for sure.
Fantastic. Brilliant. All right, guys. Well, have a fantastic week, and we will see you all. Well, I will see you all next week.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
I think the outro is going to happen, so bye.
Bye.